We started Original Fire Games to build Circuit Superstars. We had gotten a publishing agreement to basically make our first game. I had had experience working as a game designer in the real-time strategy industry, so moving into the racing space was a learning experience. But not only that, it was moving from big-time games to making our first indie title. So Circuit, in many ways, was an ode to our love for motorsport throughout our lives. My brother Alberto had been working in Vancouver and decided to go live at my parents' house, basically just dedicate himself to building a prototype for a game that he honestly just wanted to play. They wanted a game that captured the essence of motorsport, what we'd refer to as the thrill of motorsport, but also something that was accessible, fun, and something that didn't require a lot of skill sets to get into it and start having fun.
So we went through a pretty lengthy process of evaluating different studios and looking at different projects out there, and ultimately we acquired 2 studios, and we kind of closed the door on other acquisitions. And at the time, I found this game called Circuit Superstars, and it was a very different game from something that I traditionally played. I reached out to the Original Fire Games team, and I just started talking to them about what they'd been doing with the game, and I just really enjoyed the game to the point where I was like, I kind of want to figure out something to do with these guys because it was so fun.
Right from the start, we all knew we wanted cars that were responsive and nimble, but forgiving and easy to drive, and that players were able to get into the flow of it very quickly. That's a quality of the classic arcade titles, and the best way to communicate that visually is to build a stylized world, starting with the cars. So this short wheelbase look that we give to the cars is something you notice right away, and then we make sure to respect the stance and the details of the original car. So we keep them low to the ground, the wheels are not oversized, we don't add any crazy looking features. And this goes in line with another aspect of the game, which is that it follows the rules and the spirit of racing.
And so the challenge becomes more about finding the limits of the track and interacting with your rivals rather than handling the car itself as a difficult challenge. I think the car needs to be relatively easy to keep under control, and we really want players to feel like they can push at every corner of the track.
When people first see the game, I think one of the first things that they'll talk about is just it looks so cute. It has this very stylized, cute, cozy art style that one might also refer to as chunky. The cars needed to be really cute but not know about it themselves. They're very serious being cute.
So when we really started sitting down and kind of to talk about what we wanted iRacing Arcade to be, one of the big pieces was like a career mode. There was no career or kind of single player campaign, if you will, in their previous games. And I always had this idea, I've written up many design documents through the years of kind of like a campus building, a career, or like kingdom building type.
You are earning money as you race, and we wanted this to build on this fantasy that you can apply those earnings to earning the ability to race in multiple different kinds of categories. And we also wanted to service the fantasy that at some point you can't race in all of the series, right? Like, because there's touring cars, there's Fiat 500 series, there's Formula Junior series, GP series. At one point you need to build up a team. And so we implemented a feature for players to be able to hire drivers of varying skill sets that then they can send to race for them. And so we felt that iRacing Arcade is really building on that core fantasy of being in motorsport, not only in the racetrack, but also outside the racetrack.
There was going to be a need for series in the career, and again, just looking at our catalog of partners, I mean, IMSA jumped out immediately as being perfect for this game because we could put multiple series immediately into the product, and in a ladder system that aligned very well with the cars that we wanted to introduce into this first version of the game.
Something that differentiates arcade games from sim racers is we lean into letting you hit other cars. Don't get me wrong, you'll take damage, you still want to mitigate that, but you can go wheel to wheel, even door to door with the AI drivers, and they will be there. They will send it on every corner, and you will have to fight for every second of the lap while you are out there. And while the AI is driving just like you do, one thing that they don't have is an intrinsic desire to win. They are tuned so that collectively you are having fun, which means that if an AI driver decides to take some more damage than a human player might, that just adds to the challenge. They're not doing the calculus of how do I get into first place. You're sort of racing against the swarm.
It's such a fun version of AI. They make mistakes, they'll run you off the track, they run each other off the track. You know, there's pile-ups into some of the corners that give you an opportunity to sneak by 3 or 4 cars at a time. You could be in a pile-up and 5 cars go by you. But the quick and fast action of these races, where there are 5 to 7, 8 lap races that are happening in less than a couple minutes, you know, you're, again, going back to the idea that we wanted to be quick, fast gameplay where, you know, if you have a terrible race, you're 5 button clicks away from your next race. And just the dynamic nature of how the AI and where your grid position is during the career mode, there isn't decision making that you have to make. It's just a really fun game to play.
The lap times are like 50 to 30 seconds, somewhere in there, depends on the track. And because of that, no play session is intimidatingly long. You know, you're gonna go out, you do somewhere between 5 laps for a super short race and maybe 30 for a long race. But that's still like at most half an hour. And in that time, every single moment something is happening. There are always cars near you, you are always battling for position.
Track building was a tough challenge because they need to be scaled to work well for the cars. And the most important aspect is that they keep you busy all the time. But as we're featuring licensed tracks, we also wanted a reasonably faithful representation of the actual track. Players know these tracks well from driving them in simulations. They know their character. So we had to come as close as possible to capturing their character and their feel well. So there was a lot of testing. We had to iterate a lot. But we're very pleased with the result, and I hope players agree that we got it right.
The way that the terrain works now that we're so much closer, we wanted to give a better sense of the texture of every material. We wanted to push the lighting, get better reflections, better fog, atmospheric scattering, every detail that can make the world feel like it's living and breathing. So the trees move, the sun shafts go through the leaves, everything that we could push, we tried. I really love the way we've interpreted real circuits on this game and how they've become caricature versions of themselves, but they still have the feeling that you get when you watch races on TV. So when you drive around Miami, you really feel like you're in that space. I just love the way that some of these tracks have been interpreted, and I want them to experience those and to just enjoy spending time there.
We are super excited for you guys to play iRacing Arcade on the PC. If this game is successful, I can't begin to explain to you how excited I am for the long list of partners that we have willing to join this product and add just so much depth to this career and the fun, fast-paced action that this game provides.